back and we back and we back.
We back.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Let me get that out my head.
Cause we back.
Yes, sir. The Nutty North podcast. The Nutty North, the ASC podcast. Oh my God. Let me fix this camera a little bit.
So we've been off this whole time, and you still went out the night before the show?
I'm tired, bro.
What's her name?
Live.
What's her name?
What's her name?
What's their name? Excuse me, my fault. Player. I
ain't got nobody.
Yeah, that's what players say.
Her name is My Bed. That's what her name is.
You said my hand.
I said My Bed. That's crazy.
I mean, you know, go best friend. That's my best friend.
Look, it's the AFC North. It's the Nutty North, the AFC North podcast. Here with me, Rondell, and T right over there. You know, and I guess the heart grows fonder because y'all showed up in force. But yeah, we back.
Love y'all, man.
How you feeling, T?
Feel great, man. Back where I want to be. For those who don't know, there was a which was the right move. After Thanksgiving, they had they shut everything down pretty much, just kind of making it a quarantine thing. They knew people were going to enjoy Thanksgiving with families and stuff. There was no way to stop that, so they shut everything down for a couple weeks. So we were off for a few weeks. But I miss y'all. I'm happy to be back. Lots happened in those last few weeks. No toilet breaks for us though. We're ready to get started. Let's do this thing. Happy. I'm so happy. What we got on the docket?
Okay. All right, first things first. We're going to start off with the standings, you know, since I don't know when I made that a thing on the show, but we're going to start off with them. So we got the Steelers still in first place, you know, 11-2. Even though we both don't respect the team, they've been balling out.
Yeah.
We got the Browns in second place, but they still playing like a third place team at 9-4. We got the Ravens in third at 8-5, and then we got my Bengals at 2-10-1.
Hey, top five. Pick.
There's only 4 in the division. Yeah,
I mean, I'm saying though, you still top five.
It's only 4 in the conference, man.
Still top five.
All right, bro.
I mean, you get that nice little pick. Better be a tackle or something. But hey, I mean, this is what the Bengals were looking at anyway. So
we was looking at some improvement, not 2 wins like we had last year.
This is an improvement. I mean,
on what?
You look better this year. You can say that. It's just,
at one point we looked better. Now we look discombobulated.
Well, I mean, you got what you needed to have, and that's your quarterback. You know, Brandon Allen won't be your quarterback. Brian Finley won't be your quarterback.
Thank God.
They probably both won't be on the roster next year if Cincinnati knows what they're doing.
I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be mad if Brandon Allen was still there, but Ryan Finley got to go.
Yeah, I mean, he could conceivably he could still be on the roster. I still think, especially seeing what happened with Burrows, you need a better backup quarterback.
Yeah,
that's
way
just
better
what
backup.
It is. But I mean, they have something to look forward to, especially at this point. Joe Mixon's been out a long time, and I think I just heard that Geno Atkins went on IR too.
Yeah, they placed him on IR, so he's probably not coming back. To be honest,
ain't no reason to. He may not come back again for the Bengals. Someone sat up here earlier and said that some point of time during this show.
All right,
if I'm not mistaken.
All right. So I'm gonna cancel this podcast right after this.
You don't have the power. Where's Ty the guy? I need another producer. Place quick. Nah, but it's optimism still in Cincinnati land.
Right.
The record doesn't necessarily reflect that, but I
don't know, man. I saw his press conference. Zach Taylor looking defeated.
Well, I mean, they lost a lot. I mean, I don't
remember him being this defeated last year.
Well, I mean, last year was kind of the throwaway year. You didn't have to worry. There was no job security issues or anything. There was nothing necessarily to worry about. You know what I mean? So I think this year he's kind of seeing that he kind of has like a diamond in the rough right now. There's a team that other coaches want to coach for because Joe Burrows. That's the number one reason. So it's kind of like having that pretty girl. You always have to be on alert because somebody's always going to be coming for him. You got to do what you got to do to keep that girl, absolutely. But somebody's always going to be coming forward. So Zach Taylor's kind of looking at it like I don't have my stuff straight right now. So if I don't get it together, they're going to let me go, and they're going to bring somebody in here that's hotter, stronger, faster, better to take this team and take it to the promised land. So of course he should be looking a little dejected, but I still don't think it's time for him to go yet.
I
We'll
mean, I
see.
don't either, but 4 wins in your career as a coach. I mean, that's a little.
That's three more than Hugh Jackson. So you want to look at it that way. I
That's
mean,
different though.
it is, but at the same time, it's different barometers.
Like it's a rite of passage to really fail with Cleveland.
Stefanski didn't get that memo.
Yeah, he didn't.
Shout out to you, brother.
But I don't know. It just ain't. It ain't the same with Cincinnati. Like both teams don't have that history of success, but like you just don't hear the same in Cincinnati like that.
Well, I mean that's because Cincinnati half cares about the football team, so
Right.
it's just different breed, different level of expectation. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But I mean, like I said, it's still optimism land in Cincinnati right now. Who's going to be the coach that leads them there? We don't know that yet. Even though I seen something funnier earlier, it was about Marvin Lewis being like a hot commodity as a head coaching prospect.
Yeah, I saw that too. People were talking about he's coming back to coaching or at least head coaching.
And that's the thing that kind of gets me about the media sometimes or a lot of times, is you just crushed this man 2 years ago and basically called him washed and it was over for him and he probably doesn't deserve another job. And skip. Fire Marvin Lewis, blah, blah, blah.
Now that we see the light ain't shiny at the tunnel on the other end, it's like, y'all want him back now? No.
It was never going to be because he gave Cincinnati the most success that they've had in the last
20, 30 years.
Man. So, I mean, it's just, that's why you don't listen to the media all the time. Unless it's us, then we can go ahead and check this in. I mean, that's a whole different entity.
I don't know.
We don't hold biases over here.
You might not want to listen to us either. I ain't gonna lie.
You might not want to listen to him. Listen to me. I got your back. But no, I mean, it was just something that tickled my fancy when I saw that. Like, oh,
tickled my fancy.
Yes, I use that term.
That hit different.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie.
Touche. But I mean, it's still funny to me just because it's the narrative thing, and now you want him back. You should have never let him go, but
right.
It is what it is.
I mean, I think people just threw it out there to scare at least Zach Taylor, but it's probably putting more stress on him than anything.
That's probably why he looks like that.
Yeah. So, because if we gonna be honest, he's not coming back.
No, he's not coming back to Cincinnati, but still at the top of the head coaching prospect list. And it's like, well, why did you want him so fired before? If you were just going 2 years later, you put him at the top of the list. I don't get that, but again, that's the media for you. So whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. So first topic that we got, and I really missed the little lower third we had where I could write topics and everything.
Well, whose fault is that?
Not mine. I don't know what happened to OBS. It tweaked on us.
Mm-mm.
But first topic we have is Lamar versus Baker. How that game went, because everyone kept talking about that game like it was game of the decade, even though the decade technically just started.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if that's how you want to look at it, then I guess it could be the game of the decade.
So I mean, it looked like game of the year. It was a back and forth.
Yeah,
a lot of points put on the board. But yeah, the Lamar and Baker situation, how that's looking for the AFC North in the future, because they are the future of the AFC North.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ben Biggs on his way out. He the last of the old guard, and then Joe Burrow, he's right behind him. Mm-hmm. But they are really the two young, hot commodity quarterbacks of the AFC North. So how's it looking for us?
Well, Baker Mayfield, he has a couple different alter egos. Sometimes Baker Mayfield is Baker Mayfield. Sometimes Baker Mayfield is Baker Manziel. Sometimes Baker Mayfield is Baker Montana. Baker Montana. I mean, sometimes that man that's why that's why Baker will be there for a long time. Right. Because he's going to be just good enough that it's going to be like we can't get rid, like we're too good to get another quarterback. Like we're not going to be picking too high. But he shows those flashes sometimes where it shows you that's my guy. This is why I brought him here. And then there's other flashes where it's just like Case Keenum get to warming this up. And Baker needs to. I don't know what it is with him. I don't know if it's a consistency thing. I don't know if it's a big game thing because it seems like he gets up for big games. This game was we lost it absolutely. Excuse me, the Browns lost it, but it's not an indictment on Baker. Like Baker brought what Baker needed to bring. It was just that defense was always was a concern for me. Let Lamar kind of get off after he went number two in the bathroom because there
Bro,
was
it
no.
was cramps.
Yeah, of course you got to poop. There's cramps. Absolutely, your stomach is bubbling.
He literally
Get
said
tight.
his right arm went numb.
Did you see the way that man ran? All the full extension, the little switch up. Look, he was good.
People said he was running stiff afterwards.
Man, he was running. That's why he kept falling. If you watch that game, he kept slipping earlier in that game because he had to poop. And then he just said, "Forget it."
They said he had different cleats on. He had to change the studs of them cleats.
I don't care what they say. I know what a man having to poop looks like. That was a man that had to poop.
I don't know about that one.
Period. I mean, whatever he did, it worked because he came right back, fourth down, threw that touchdown, and completely sucked the life out of Cleveland.
Wait, didn't Paul Pierce do the same thing?
Paul Pierce, he really did have to poop. He faked it. He did. He just went extra with it. The whole wheelchair, all that. Like, bro, first of all, why not take care of that before you get on the field? Especially football. This is a contact sport. If you got to poop, ain't you a little bit worried that somebody's going to Goldberg the poop out of you? I would think that. I mean, I know Lamar's slippery and he ain't getting hit as much.
What part of he had cramps in his right arm?
Bro, I did not see. How many trainers did you see around him, even working with that arm? What do you do for cramps when you have them?
I mean, you really just get someone water. That's it.
He pooped. It took him that long to drink some water?
He said he needed like 2 to 3 IV bags. He had to
now
pump.
He need IV bags.
Bro, you gotta pump water into your system.
He needed toilet paper, a toilet, and a phone. That's what he needed. And he was probably watching on his phone. DC would slowly get hurt, and then all of a sudden, here comes Lamar Jackson ready to save the day. That's exactly what happened. But good for them. They needed this win. This is a rare case where it was like, as a Brown fan, first of all, I've seen losses on top of losses on top of losses.
Right.
So it feels great to be at a space where it's just like, another team needed it more. It was their this was their quote unquote playoff. Like the playoffs already started for the Ravens. So it was more so where Lamar Jackson, I think that he came in, he did what he did, he saved the day. But I still think the concerns that I usually have for Lamar Jackson are still valid. I think the Browns defense is something that really needs to be worked on bad, like super, super bad. But it's gonna come with time. Lamar Jackson's a different entity, but when you have him just having to use his arm, you can stop him. His legs was the problem. Even with that fourth down pass, we thought he was gonna run. So everybody collapsed on him and he just threw a dart. And then Hollywood, took the rest. But it's still one of those things where both teams and both quarterbacks can leave that game with their head held high. Because they both brought it. And that's what you want to see out of the two young guns. It was just, obviously one team has to win, one team has to lose normally. I mean, obviously, in certain cases there's ties. But it was just the team that needed it more, wanted it more, ended up getting it. And now the Browns have the Giants that should help ease that. But the Ravens are at a point that they can't lose anymore. So, I mean, it was really not just saving that game for them, it was saving the season. So that's what your former MVP is supposed to come in there.
Hold up. Freddie Kitchens coaches for the Giants now?
Yes. And he is going to be the offensive coordinator to this week. And I cannot wait. Can't wait. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that man literally disappeared from my whole mind. I forgot about Freddie Kitchens.
I'm glad he appeared this week. Let him be the freaking coach. Let him run that offense the same way he ran the Browns offense. And let's see what happens. Because, man, oh, man.
He wasn't a bad offensive coordinator. So when he put on that coaching hat, that head coaching hat, that it was different.
He was dumb.
Well, I mean, he was calling plays when what? Was it? No, it wasn't Adam Gates. What's his name?
When Greg Williams was the coach.
Yeah, I was going to say he just got fired, didn't
he? Yep.
But when Greg Williams was the coach, he was offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
They was pretty decent.
But that's what happens when you reward a man for being pretty decent. That's the thing with him.
like they say, sometimes some people are better at being coordinators than head coaches.
He's definitely one of those. So
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't.
starting to think Zach Taylor the same way, even though he wasn't a coordinator, he was a QB coach. So
Well, it's kind of the same thing, actually. If you want to, bring up that higher, it's the you falling in love with a measure of success. Like, yo,
right,
this is that. This is McVay's boy
yeah,
hiring. What else does he do besides be McVay's boy? You know what I'm saying? And
that's what I was wondering.
then you get him, and it's like do something. It's kind of like poking the do something, and what he gives you is whatever this is as the Cincinnati Bengals
All right,
team. But again, to his credit, it's not like you've had a full roster of your team. That O line definitely needs to be touched on. But there's pieces there. So obviously, if they keep him around, this would be the make or break year for him coming up because he's gonna have to show some success. This is by year three. Forget what Burrows is dealing with. You're gonna have to show me some progress. But again, that's you'll get yourself in trouble with rather it's Freddie Kitchens or rather it's Zach Taylor when you hire for mediocrity. So we'll see how that goes.
yeah. But going back to the Lamar and Baker situation, um, I I guess I agree with you with everything you said. I can't really remember it all, but
How you gonna agree if you don't
bro,
remember it all?
because you went off about it.
I always go off about
You
it.
went off about it. I all I know is you do got a point. You know, Baker has many personalities. You never know which Baker you're gonna get. And Lamar, he is limited, but he's the future for Baltimore. And when you look at them two, and you look at the play that they give you at times, it's like the AFC North is in a good place.
Yeah,
It's in a
absolutely.
good place for quarterbacks. All we need is Pittsburgh to get someone young and also decent, and well,
I,
AFC North will always be on top. I know that much.
they're kind of in the same mode that I said Baker is going to have you in, as far as if the Steelers are going to get a quarterback high, they're going to have to trade for that quarterback high. They're not
Right.
going to be, even without Big Ben and as atrocious as the quarterback rule was last year, they still finished, what, 7, 9, 8, and 8 area?
They was 8-8 last
Yeah,
year.
8 and 8. So it's you have that's they're a great run organization. There is no denying that. They have sustained success. They're the head coach at the top is really what keeps that going because he kind of has a Steelers way of doing things, and other players follow suit. But there's going to come a point in time when Big Ben's not there anymore, and everything's going to become a problem. And you're right; they're going to need a young gun, but that's kind of why you build your team like that too, is because when you do make a move and you do have to give up picks, you don't necessarily have to worry about building around that team anymore because the picks you lost, you have a great front office that can kind of compensate for that. So we'll see how they do, but they are definitely building the pieces around whoever their next quarterback's going to be. And I still think Ben has probably a couple more years left.
Yeah,
You still want to build for the future, but
this kind of segue into one of the next topics, which is I kind of worded it as them falling apart, which they're not really falling apart. In their game they're not really falling apart, but they have a lot of injuries. A lot of defensive injuries. Like I want to say Bud Dupree's out for the year. Devin Bush, he's out for the year. Who else is? I can't remember who else is out. But they got some injuries piling up on the defense, and then now they're relying on big men a little bit more.
mm-hmm.
And we all know, like last year, his arm, I forgot what it was that happened to his arm, but his arm was basically broke for the whole year.
Yeah.
And like now he's older too, so it's like they're relying on someone who basically kind of has a shot arm just to lead them and win them games. How you think that's looking for them in the future, especially since you feel like he has a few more years on him.
I just think that number one, I think the biggest problem is they don't use a run game. And I know because I put James, even though I should have never done it.
Why
I'll
would
do it
you?
again. James Conner, I put him as my starter. Thanks for that 1.8 points, you bum.
I'm not gonna
You
lie.
bum.
Even
You
without Joe Mixon,
bum.
my running back still eat even without Joe Mixon.
Your running back I could have put Joe Mixon out there. I could have took him from you and put him out. He would have did a better job than Man, see, they about to have me say those magical words over here today. But I should be mad at myself because I don't never put Steelers up in my lineup. But I just start. Hey, I need a running back. I
Got
had,
you. No,
I had David Johnson and he on the IR. I needed to do something. I could have put myself in. I could have left that spot empty and would have had better. But still, point being, before I go on my tangent about super bum James Conner, um, bum. Sorry, I had to let another out. But they need to feed him more too, though. Even though he gave 1.8 yards a carry like a bum, he still only had 10 carries, and I think that's on the head coach, that's on the offensive coordinator, because you don't want Ben throwing it like that. You want to keep Ben at that 25, maybe 30 throw range. But even to me, I've always been firm on if the running game still ain't working, keep going to it. Because at some point, it's those 2 yards turn into three. Those 3 yards turn into four. That 4 yards turn into seven. And you just need a couple of them to break. So if you can get a 15 to 20 here, 25 here, that's all you need. Sometimes it's them hard hitting rough games where you might have 20 carries, 58 yards, something like that. But every one of those 58 yards was valuable and it mattered. I just think that when the chips get down for the Steelers, they just go right to the pass game. Now it's helped by the fact that their defense can get the ball right back a lot of those times. But I think at some point your defense is going to look at it, and if it continues to be three and outs, I don't care how good they are, you're gonna suffer because you got fatigue. You kind of feel deflated at some point in time too. So I mean, I just think that they're going to have to get a balance, or they're going to get bounced early. Which I'm not going to cry one shed a tear if they get bounced early. I actually wish for that to happen. But for Steelers Nation and those terrible towels, if they don't want to wipe their tears with it, they need more balance out of that offense.
I mean, they got us coming up, so we'll wipe our feet with those terrible towels since they don't want to wipe their tears with it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put too much stock into that one. I'm gonna start James Conner again actually because he is playing in Cincinnati.
That's crazy.
Trey, I'm coming for you too, buddy. I don't
That's
like
wild.
I don't like his style. And I'm glad. Shout out to Trey though. He didn't put Kareem Hunt in his lineup, so I don't have to deal with him. And I know he doesn't watch our show, so he won't hear me say that. But I'm
How
still
you know
coming
he
for
don't
that
watch our show?
because Trey doesn't watch our shows.
That's crazy.
I just know he doesn't. He doesn't have that aura. People that watch our shows, they have that aura. Trey don't have that aura.
What aura?
It's an aura, fool. You only can see it if they watch the show.
I guess.
Open your eyes, man. Shout out to Trey though. Shout out to Adam Dale too. And who's the fourth one? I think Wally's the fourth one in our playoff matchup. Even though Wally's done,
There's no way Wally would be the fourth one.
he is.
There's no way.
Yep. Yeah, because he needed a Seth loss to get him there, and somebody beat Seth. Oh, it was me. Hi, Seth. I know Seth watches our show, but yeah, Wally backed into
Wally.
it. I told you.
Crazy.
I told you I'll be knowing.
I mean, you lost to be honest.
Bro, it's a 2-week playoff. I didn't. If it was 1 week, I'd have lost. Yeah, but it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. The playoffs are 2 weeks.
But you lost the trade, so you in the consolation winners bracket.
No, I'm not. We're in the playoffs. It's the first 2 weeks to decide who plays the champion in the championship round. The consolation.
I'm not even looking. It does say week 14, week 15.
Thank you.
All right, relax.
I know a little bit about being in the playoffs, sir. I know you beat me.
I got Hannah again. That's crazy.
You better not lose to Hannah.
Shout out to Hannah. Beat her. I lost her in the regular season. I just beat her in the playoffs, though. So
Big Red.
I'm about to win that again.
Well,
I'm about to win this loser bracket. Yes, sir.
Have fun in that one. I won it in baseball, so
yeah.
You win nothing.
I mean, in baseball, I went second, so we ain't gonna talk about that. Shout out Cody.
Actually, my playoff spot, but I ain't gonna say to nobody else about it.
Shout out Cody, shout out Logan, but for a casual, I went second in baseball. So
I'm so happy that season's over. Whew.
Crazy,
man.
They try to sabotage us too.
I believe it.
But back to the Steelers. Yeah, I agree with you. What you said, they do need a running game because to be honest, I want to say since Jerome Bettis, I don't think they had any dynamic running back.
Not really.
It's just been
I mean, they're solid. Like Willie Parker was solid for
running backs that just kind of know how to toe the load or whatever.
Yeah, I mean they get a system. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is. Is as long as you have Big Ben out there, and you still got your coach, you're pretty much good. And that's what the Steelers have showed. So I mean, it's I gotta give them their flowers at some point in time. They're like I said, they're a well-run organization. It's just at some point that runs dry.
Right.
So they gonna have to keep that sustained success. They're gonna have to do certain things that are gonna maybe not be the Steelers' way. And the big thing of that is, and it might be a Big Ben thing. Big Ben has notoriously not been a fan of counseling these young quarterbacks and not really being big on that. So maybe they're afraid of drafting somebody high that's gonna sit. Like to me, the Steelers may not be able to do the same thing that the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is cool. He like whatever, he ain't better than me anyway. He probably never will be better than me. If y'all make this
I totally
decision,
forgot about Jordan Love. That's crazy.
because you got Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
so when he's kind of aided by the fact that he grew up under Brett Favre, and Brett Favre did the same thing to him that Big Ben does to other quarterbacks. But at some point, it's just kind of like, to me, it's competition. So if you bring another person in here that's supposed to take my spot, just like it's with this, if you bring somebody in here right now and you sit them right there, you tell them, let's see you take T spot. I'm coming for your neck. I'm gonna still support you because you are a colleague, you are my teammate, but I'm not letting you take my job. If you're gonna have my job, it's gonna be because somebody removed me out of this spot, and that's out of my hands.
That's why I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Dwayne Haskins will be the best quarterback for them. He,
Steelers,
yeah, like he already knows what it's like to lead a team in the NFL. Even though he was thrown out into the fire, which is Washington, and right now he's learning under Alex Smith. But I feel like as long as Alex Smith is fine, he's gonna be the quarterback for Washington.
yeah,
And even though he had like what that life-ending injury or that career-ending
life
injury,
ending.
I
Dang,
think it
you
was.
trying to put him in the
No,
dirt?
huh, for real. I think his injury was, it was fatal in a way. I think.
Now he was dealing with. You're right. He was dealing with something that was potentially life
Yeah,
threatening.
yeah. But yeah, like learning under Alex Smith a little bit, and, knowing how to lead a team. I feel like he'd be kind of best because as long as Alex Smith is somewhat good, he'll be the quarterback in Washington.
Yeah.
And I feel like he got more years on him than Big Ben does. So I don't know. I feel like that'd be the best trade for them because I don't think they're gonna go into the draft and trade up to get a quarterback.
Now, I find it unlikely too. I mean, it's just I think that with Haskins, it's kind of why would Washington want to get rid of him? You know what I'm saying? Like if you already have Alex Smith, you need a guy in training.
He's not neither the GM or the head coach's guy.
Yeah,
Like the head coach got his guy, which was what's his name, Kyle Allen or whatever.
yeah, I get that, but Cal Allen's nobody's long term answer either. So I mean, it's to me that's a little overstated because to have a team full of your guys that takes years anyway. So
Right.
I'm speaking of for the next couple of years, Dwayne Haskins probably should be. He probably always was a better backup for the first couple of years. You get him under your umbrella, you let him learn. You put that little whatever on him, and you see what you have once Alex Smith inevitably moves on. Because I think Washington is his last stop, but it's still come in there with the girl Dwayne Haskins is like the girl I'm going to motor. It's going to take some time. She ain't where I want her to be right now. But if I can keep getting her, working that out, showing that resiliency, and plus, you can't underrate the fact of getting knocked down. Dwayne Haskins getting his job taken out like that. How does he respond from that? So if and obviously Rivera is going to know more because he is the head coach. But what are you seeing every day that tells you that this guy he has that type of resolve? And if that's the kind of guy that I have in my locker room, that's the guy I want to keep around long term. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt to have him. So, but I definitely feel what you're saying. Like I agree that Dwayne Haskins is one of those good in training kind of guys. Because otherwise, you're looking at like Jameis Winston. That's what New Orleans had him for, is to kind of be a guy in training. He still didn't get the job over Taysom Hill, probably because they looked at Taysom Hill and said he has more potential right now.
I
But
mean, to be honest, he's been in that system for forever, so
yeah,
he was the right choice there. If we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but it's still where Jameis Winston still has the potential to be somebody's quarterback of the future. I can see him in Pittsburgh. So going around your same thought process, that's probably where they need to be looking. But if you're Pittsburgh, I still think that you want to trade the for him because they did that for Devin Bush. They traded up for Devin Bush, which I get it. He was a good talent. He helped your defense a lot. But those kind of moves, I feel like should be made for like a quarterback. And this just seems like actually this is one of the good years that I think they could do it and not have to trade up. Obviously you have Justin Fields, you have Trevor Lawrence out there in the top two, but you have Lance out there from North Dakota State. You have Sam Howell out there. That's a possibility. So it's
Isn't the BYU quarterback?
yeah, that's what I was about to say next. Like there's guys out there that will give you a shot that you don't have to trade up in the top 10, the top 15 in, and you can help mold and do what you need to do with them. So,
well, I mean, the way that the quarterback at BYU been playing, he's definitely probably top 5 or maybe top. He's first round at least.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if Trevor Lawrence is off the table, there's nothing you can do to trade for that dude.
All right.
Justin Fields is probably off the table. Probably nothing you can do to trade for that dude.
Do we even know if Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields is truly going to be in the draft?
They're probably going to, more than likely.
I mean, if
you have to
if
assume
the team you're going to go to is the Jets, do we really know if Trevor Lawrence is going to leave?
Yeah, because what happens if let's say Trevor Lawrence doesn't leave?
Right.
The Jets are going to suck next year too. So what are you going to do next year? You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you can't keep running, and that's something that I'm not a fan of in sports anyway. Basketball has way too much of it. What's up, Paul? We'll talk about you here on the Open Gym Show coming up. But it's a lot of it's their fault. It's their fault. I'm want to put myself in a situation that I find more favorable. Same thing with James Harden. He decided to party and get fat because the first time they told him no.
I'm just saying.
But
you got a 4PF chain. You would be partying too.
No. You have somewhere to be, something to do.
That's crazy. Little baby has you a 4PF chain. You know about the party.
I could care less if it was little baby, big baby, freaking duh baby, baby Ice Cube, baby Ice Tea, baby Powder.
All right, bro.
I could care less, bro. You have a job to do. You signed a big contract to be a professional. You be there.
Hold on. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at Paul Pierce right now. And I'm remembering that incident. They showed a little picture of that incident. He really did fake that for
man. He was extra, but he had the. I thought he got shot at first. The way he was looking at it, he looked like Tupac did after when Tupac got out that elevator in New York. Shut up, my man's Pac. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to the GOAT. But I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where I mean, like I said, it gets old. The blame game gets old. Right. At some point, you're on that field. You need to go to where you need to be.
Yeah, like I mean, we gonna look at it. This is also another decent segue. But Joe Burrow, he didn't complain. Everyone wanted him to complain and hold out like Eli Manning did, and who else hold out? John Elway, I want to say, he also held out, and they didn't want to go to the team that drafted him, so they got traded away. But everyone wanted Joe Burrow to do that. Joe Burrow didn't. He just, he stayed quiet and was ready for training camp.
So you don't listen to them fools because it's always the same thing. Like I hate when the media does the "what I would do" game.
Right.
Like that's not the way to come about. Like you're a loser. Just go ahead and say it. You're a loser that when you lose, you decide to pull the plug. You decide to quit the game. You decide I want to be somewhere else. That's not what a winner does. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I want a guy that come and look at us. Like I don't want to use Baker as an end all be all, but Baker came to a 0-16 team. I mean, not a 0-16 team. He that was Myles Garrett, but Baker came to a terrible team.
I'm pretty sure Baker.
No, I think Baker did. Baker was Baker was on the 0-16 team.
Yeah. I mean, he even played in what? Y'all only won one game when he was quarterback, right?
No. That was the year that we were 7-9, because that's how Freddie Kitchens got promoted. Yeah,
Okay.
because he was a
Right.
quarterback that won the game for us.
Right. Because who started? RG3 started, right?
Yeah, he won the one game that we won. The 1-31. The one game, the one win came from RG3.
Okay. And then, but eventually, that year, y'all fired Hugh Jackson, and
Yeah,
then Greg Williams took over,
Greg Williams took over. Then
and
that's
then
when Freddie
Freddie
Kitchens was
Kitchen
the
moved up.
coordinator.
Okay,
Then the
yeah.
next year, that's when he was the head coach, and then he
And
stunk up the
then it
joint.
was like 6 and 12,
6-10.
6 and 10.
He had to biz
I don't
out
know the count.
because we couldn't take that no more.
Right.
But it's still, he's a prime example of, I came into a team that had no wins. Now we're in the playoff spot a couple years later. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Turn that team around, be great. Not, oh, I lose, let me go run somewhere else. Again, I feel like a lot of the mentality of the media is, I always use the phrase, losers will always put you in lose-lose situations. The media a lot of times put you in a lose-lose situation. They'll beg and cry and plead for you to one out or pull one of these draft moves, and then when you do it, they'll paint you as a villain. Ain't that what you just told me to do? How am I the villain? And I listen to you. That's why you don't listen to them fools.
Right.
Period. Because that's the kind of mentality they have, that what I would do thing. Well, you're not an NFL player. You write for it. There's a reason why you write and this guy plays. Trevor Lawrence, he should feel like the Jets aren't that far away either. They just have terrible quarterbacking and a terrible head coach. Gase has to get gone. I still believe in Darnold. Maybe not from the Jets, but
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why they fired Greg Williams, to be honest, because they did a decent job defensively. And I mean, it was kind of stupid to all out blitz on a Hail Mary, but sometimes a play like that, it can actually work. You could shock someone like that.
Well, Greg Williams is kind of an a-hole. Right. And the thing with that is,
I mean, we know its history, so
it's kind of like, I compare a lot of things to the Pretty Girl, but I feel like a lot of it meshes. Greg Williams is the same thing. It's like the Pretty Girl, you'll deal with her being the quote unquote mean girl when she's pretty. Let her be ugly and have a bad attitude. You ain't dealing with that. So with Greg Williams' situation, it's more so, I like your aggressions, I like your attitude, I like your personality when we're winning. When we're 0-11, oh, you're gonna rub us the wrong way. And that's just kind of how it works out. So now he becomes the ugly girl with the bad attitude. So you know what you do with them?
let them go.
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no. What you say?
And Cortez L says, "What's up, fam?"
My guy, John. What up, boy?
Yo, man, I forgot that was him.
That's him again, just in case you need a refresher. What's up with my guy, man? We're gonna have to get together, bro. Everything's starting to work out, man. We slowly getting up out this pandemic, man, and it's time to hit that grind. So you already know, John. Get at me, bye.
But yeah, like I said, that was a perfect segue. What you was talking about, you can't run away from, a terrible situation, because, like I said, Joe Burrow, he went into a team that was 2-14. I want to say we were last year, and even though he is the reason why we won those 2 games, and now he's out, we're 2-10 now. I mean, he still got to come back to us.
Yeah.
So it was a nice segue to talk about, can Zach Taylor turn around his team, or is his era just doomed a failure? Since we lost to Andy Dalton and the Cowboys, shout out Andy Dalton,
which really was a win, because that's neck and neck in that top pick range. So if Dallas wins, that moves them further away from where you at. They got a quarterback.
Bro, we're not trying to be in the top 5 of the draft no more.
Well, you have to be at some point. And maybe this is it for you after this. But it's more so.
But I mean, who are we gonna get?
Penny Sewell from Oregon. He hasn't played this year. I think he's sitting out because of Corona. But you need another tackle, and then you can move Jonah Williams to the right side, or you can put Sewell at the right side. Either way, you need to hit that tackle area.
You're right. We do need another tackle.
Like, you need that. You need some more guards.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say, if anything, they need to stop playing around, fire that O-line coach, and get someone that really wants to challenge that O-line.
That'll probably happen, just because if Zach Taylor's going to stay there, somebody's gonna have to be fired. Like
Yeah,
you're not gonna
someone.
bring the whole core back or nothing like that. And even if Zach Taylor's gone, that O line dude's gonna have to go with you. So you may get your wish, but
So
still
that
you need
the
players.
defensive coordinator gotta go too. Lou Armadillo. I do not know how to say his last name.
A lot of that's gonna have to happen though. But that's kind of the cardinal. That's the damage that you have when you have a sucky team.
Right.
So that's the collateral damage. Is that at the end of the day, coaches have to get fired, players have to be let go. You have to bring in a team that best suits your guys. But you have to look at the bright spot of it. T. Higgins came along well. Um, you have that O line's not good, but that O line's got a lot of experience. So if you start bringing other pieces there, now that left tackle that had to start more games than you wanted to is a great backup with a lot of experience. That guard is a great backup with a lot of experience. Like all those things kind of come into play. That defense, we never got to really see what DJ Reader was about, at all. So
I mean,
now
the little we did get to see.
it was a smidge.
Yeah.
But there's like most of Cincinnati's big name free agents, we didn't really get to see them play.
I mean, they're all hurt. Trey Waynes, DJ Reader. Is Mike Daniels still hurt?
If so, he's either hurt or he's hurting his stock because I ain't hearing too much about him.
Me either.
But it's still one of those things where you kind of have to give Zach Taylor a mulligan. Because my thing is, what did you expect? If you expected 5 wins or something like that, okay, cool. But
I
then
at least expected 4 to 5.
I can understand that they should have been better. But then you got to keep in the fact that Joe Burrow's situation. If you take away Baker, where does that leave Cleveland? If you take away the Lamar Jackson, where does that leave the Ravens?
I mean, Lamar, RG3, Trace.
That's not good. That's passable.
Is better than Bengals, Ryan Finley, Brandon Allen.
Well, that's also because the team around them is good. So Brandon Allen's coming around where I have to make plays. I can't just get the ball into my playmakers' hands because we're not there yet. We don't have the time to do that. AJ Green's starting to show a little something, but it's still, we need the team to be the team. Like if you take Baker off of that roster or you take Baker out, Case Keenum is still going to have a great team that he's playing with. You take Big Ben out, Mason Rudolph's still going to have a great team that he's playing with. You take Lamar Jackson out, McSorley and all them still have a great team that they play with, but they're still going to take a loss. They're not going to be as good as they could be just because you're dealing with the backup. Now you take Joe Burrows out there, and Brandon Allen's no RG3. I'm not saying RG3 is the greatest backup quarterback in the world, but he's way better than Brandon Allen. He's way better than Ryan Finley. So it's just kind of one of those things where, again, it's a culture thing. Some teams are good enough that almost no matter who's out there, they're going to win.
All right.
Some teams are so bad that no matter who's out there, they're probably going to lose. Joe Burrows he was good enough. The games that you did see to show that flash, those flashes of brilliance that shows that he's your future. He's the guy. That's what you needed to come out there with. T. Higgins, your other pick. He's your guy. That's really what's most important.
Like I said, 9 to 85, man. 9 to 85.
Those are the things that you can take with you. And if Zach Taylor, if he's going to present something, that's the presentation. If we healthy, we can be something. But Cincinnati's looking at him like, you have to show me something.
Yeah. Like there's plenty of articles out there, but there's an article out there saying that if he beats the Steelers, which, come on, that's something else, it could save his job. But I mean, like you said, he more than likely has a whole nother year.
If he's looking at beating the Steelers as the thing that's going to either save his job or lose his job, fire me now, man. Because you've already told me that you're going to fire me. The Steelers is a game you should lose for draft reasons, and the Steelers, that's their elixir. I know they're going to playoffs regardless, but you do not want to lose to the Steelers. And again, there's a reason why I started bum James Conner again, because you're playing against the Bengals. You should. If he can't run on the Bengals, he ain't running on nobody.
Bro, he's not about to be running on no one.
We'll see. But it's just the if that's how they're going to hold him, like I said, fire him now because it's over.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, once he learns to, I guess you could say, stand up to that front office and that family, and truly try to take reins of his team and make moves, then maybe something happens. But for right now, he's just gonna be looking like he's being torn in two pieces because he got to change the culture. He got to change the culture quickly. But it says he won't rule out. Well, he rules out Joe Mixon returning from IR. That hurts us still, especially because I want to say he hurt Gio's confidence with taking him out the game after he fumbled, but I mean that don't really look good for you to take your veteran out and then for you to put two young guns in and one of them ends up fumbling again also. You don't put your veteran into like the third quarter, so yeah.
That sounds like a locker room kind of thing, and
Yeah.
that could happen with a
And
young coach and veterans. It's kind of like a tug of war. Some of these um,
I mean there was
play.
reports that it was the higher ups, the family and the front office that wanted him to put in young running backs and everything, not Geo. And it's like at that point, yeah, you got to take control
See,
because
that's
you the one that got to deal with the locker room.
I'm big on knowing your role and shutting your mouth. Shout out to Rock. But that's you have your job. Your job ain't the coach. If your job was the coach, you would be down here coaching. Let the man coach. I get mandates and all of that. At some point, yeah, that's natural. You want to see younger talent. You want to see. I feel like once you're out of the playoff mix, that's when you start playing your young guys. But it depends on what you need out of Geo too. Geo might be moved. Well, how do you hurt his stock? Pull him out every time he fumbles. How do you help his stock? Let him get a tick. Let him be out there. Let him, touch that rock. That way you can make a move for him that will help you in the short term and the long term. So I mean, it's to me it's too many cooks in that kitchen. If that's the case, if they're
Yes.
really calling down and telling him what to do, he may want to be out. If I'm Zach Taylor, I'm doing everything I can to get up out of that situation. If that's how I got to coach, if I can't be the coach that I'm supposed to be
All right.
without you breathing down my neck, get me up out of here.
Which I mean that goes back to what the media was bringing in Marvin Lewis, like his name back into the mix because they was like he was one of the first coaches to be able to talk back to this family because he got a lot of standing with them. So he was able to control his locker room because he kept them out of his locker room.
And the
But he's
media wanted
gone
him
now.
fired. See,
But he's gone now, and now we got a younger head coach who has to learn. You got to keep them out your locker room
and that's why you don't listen to the media,
because they
guys,
not helping at all.
unless it's us or me.
Yeah, like I said, you may not want to listen to neither one of us.
No matter where, there's always a hater somewhere.
That's crazy. But we gonna take a break since we've been talking for a cool minute. Well, I know you mostly been talking, but we've been talking for a cool minute.
That's what I do. I'm happy to be back, baby.
Yes, sir. But we gonna take a break and we'll be back to recap games and talk upcoming games. All right, see y'all in a minute. All right, we back, we back. Yes, sir, we back. Uh, Nutty North podcast or Nutty North, the ASC North podcast, presented by Mojo Sports Gear. I know y'all saw those commercials. Nutty Mojo Theater People, Open Gym. Just make sure you check all that out. Make sure you check all that out. What was I about to say?
How are we supposed to know what you were about to say?
I'm lost. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Like I
Like I
said,
feel
we
like when
back.
people say that, they expect somebody to be like you were about to say. Like
Hey, it's been a minute. We back. I'm a little rusty. But I remember what I was about to say. Make sure you always check us out. Score on Their Network at facebook.com or scoreonair.com. I haven't put the show on the website in a minute. Make sure you check us out on there. Also, stay tuned because we do have YouTube's coming up. They are created. There's just no videos on it at the moment. We have YouTube's coming up. We're gonna put all our shows out on those. So, stay tuned for that. And yeah, Also, if you want to, on Facebook, send me a shout out. It's my birthday week. Your boy turned at 24. It's about to be my Mamba year, my Kobe year.
are you gonna put your cash app up there?
Nah.
I find that hard to do, man. I find that like it's like having one of those cups.
Yeah.
Please, sir, can you spare a dime?
Right. Like I'll joke about it, but will I actually put it up there? I don't know about that.
like I understand I'm a black man. Ain't nobody giving me nothing, but hard times. That's all they doing, man. Is giving me
Nothing
nothing
but
but
hard
hard
times. But
times.
yeah, if you wanna give me a birthday shout out, you shout me out birthday on the 19th. It's coming up. My Kobe year. Just got done with the Jordan year. Did what I wanted to do. So now it's time to evolate. Not evolate. Evolve basically. Time to,
Evolate.
I don't know. I can't speak right now. I can't speak right now.
I
I
have to
think
put
I
that
got
as a
everything out.
password.
I think
Evolate.
I think I got everything out I wanted to get out. But right now we're gonna talk about week 14, right? That's the week that just passed. Yeah, week 14, because the upcoming one's 15.
I think so.
Yes, sir. Yep, I
Yeah,
was
because there's
right.
3 more games left. Yep.
So right now we're gonna talk about week 14. I feel like we went decently on the Browns and Ravens.
Yeah.
We don't need to go back
I mean,
on
it was a
that.
classic. The better team won. The team that needed it won.
The overall better team won, but the Browns is coming up. I can't even lie.
Like I said, I'm just happy that I can look at a Browns loss and be like,
Like, it's whatever.
we're still where we need to be. That's okay.
I mean, you won't be looking at that the same in the playoffs when y'all lose that first round.
You know what?
That's good.
I have not seen the playoffs for a long, long time. So I think I don't even know how I'm going to feel, honestly.
Right.
Like it's because as a Browns fan, you're cautiously optimistic at all times. I understand we have a great shot to make the playoffs. I also understand I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, and anything that can go wrong in Cleveland. So I'm not no. But if we get there, I'm just happy to be there. Because with our luck, we'll see Kansas City in round one, and it just be all bad anyway. So I'm just happy to be at the party. I've said that on this show. I knew that last year wasn't a playoff year.
Right.
I thought this year would have been a playoff year. But when we're going to start contending, first of all, you don't get better without Beckham. I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care what our streak would have been. I think we would have been better with Beckham anyway. But I think that next year, if we keep Beckham, then our team, continues to grow. Baker's confidence continues to grow.
I mean,
That's when we can start talking about contending for playoff wins and stuff.
I mean, you got a point. You don't get better without Odell, but that's up to the quarterback, to be honest.
Yeah, it
He
is.
got to get out of this slump when Odell's playing, or this mindset that I gotta feed Odell or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know why he plays better with Odell off the field. It's weird.
Well, I
It's
mean,
truly weird.
that's because Odell's been off the field. But like I said, I think if Odell was there, we would still have the same record.
I don't know. I feel like y'all would have been more 8-8.
No, that's assuming that Beckham makes you worse, that much worse. That's saying that Beckham takes you from being a winner to a loser.
I mean, I will say this. Y'all might be, where y'all at right now? 9-4?
Not for you.
Y'all definitely would have been like 8-5 around now.
Well, I mean, in the same ballpark. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still talking about the Cleveland Browns, which most years, this is December. It's over a couple months ago. So
the only difference is probably difference I will say is that we wouldn't be talking about Baker in a good light if Odell was playing.
I don't care how you talk about Baker. As long as we talking about wins.
That's crazy.
Just win, baby. Just win.
I'm just saying, like, y'all would have been like, people would have been crying for Baker's job. Basically, that's all I'm saying.
I cry for Baker's job once a week, really, depending on the week. Like I said, he's Baker Mayfield,
It would have been really,
Baker Manziel,
It would have been.
or Baker Montana.
All I'm saying, he would have been more Baker Manziel if Odell was on the field.
Then fire him. If that's the case, I don't want anything related to Manziel.
That's crazy.
Period. Like, I was already weary of Baker because his name started with an M. You're too close, man. You're too close.
All right, but
nah, he do what he do. But yeah.
But which game you want to start with? Steelers, Bills, Bengals, Cowboys.
Steelers Bills already played.
Nah, that's the team they just lost to. Week 14.
Oh, what happened? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
thinking you talking about what games are coming up.
Yeah, if you wanted to talk about those a little bit more.
Oh yeah, Stephon Diggs, baby. That's what happened. And Josh Allen's for real. So I mean, it's
Oh, so you on the same train that Cody is?
the Josh Allen's for real.
No, that the Bills are the best team in the AFC North. Or not the AFC North, but the AFC.
No,
No,
the Kansas City Chiefs are still alive and breathing. I'm not one. First of all, me and Cody almost never agree, so that's the easiest way to know if Cody said it. If I agree to it, didn't happen. Like that. That's not how those things work. I'm usually going to disagree, and I'm usually right when it comes to me and Cody's little rah rahs.
that's
But
crazy.
I do agree on the fact that Josh Allen is for real. Um, Stephon Diggs is for real. Their defense is for real. Their team is for real. The Steelers have trouble when they play against good teams. They've always kind of had that this year, but they were able to kind of get by. But the real getting exposed is starting to come about when you're playing teams that will mitigate your mistakes. I don't think that the way that they played against Buffalo. I think Pittsburgh gave it their all for real. I just think Buffalo is just way more talented than them. They couldn't win just by throwing the ball. And I think Buffalo made them one dimensional. They wanted them to be one dimensional, and they took it over when they needed to take it over. I just think that the Steelers have a lot to look at when they look at the other good teams because again, there's levels to everything. The Steelers look at their record and say, okay, we're having a good year. We 11-2, we're doing real great. We're in the playoffs, all the yada yada yada. But none of that means nothing if you get bounced early. Which is again, I'm not going to cry about it if it happens. But if you're still faithful, you want to see them kind of get it together. And again, your number one thing is to get that running game together. For my sake and yours, get that running game together. Because nothing moves if you already know what you're going to do. It's not like their receivers are the all pros or anything like that. They have solid receivers. Claypool, he had his time where he did what he needed to do. But it's usually pick one each week. We don't know if it's James Washington. We don't know if it's Claypool. Your boy was getting yoked up and thrown around all over the place. You not YouTube friend, your Twitch guy. Forget his name now.
Twitch guy.
The receiver, freaking.
You talking about Juju?
Yeah, Juju.
Why you gonna say he's my boy?
I mean, you the gamer. You the late night gamer. I'm an old man. Once that 12 o'clock hit, I done really reached past my bedtime for real. But those days is long gone for me.
Man, I don't know nothing about Juju.
But the last I heard that man, first he was dancing on the logo, and then next thing you know, they had the chalk outline on him. So I don't know what happened to that boy. Like, that's what you get. you want to dance now? We'll dance around this chalk, boy. But nah, man, it was just kind of one of them things. Forget my Birdman call. That was all bad.
That was all terrible.
We'll edit that one out.
No, we gonna keep that.
We'll edit that one out. Unless Birdman want to pay me. Nah, Birdman don't pay nobody. So technically, nah.
Man didn't even pay his own son.
Man.
You talking about pay me?
I don't even want to get on them too. We ain't got enough time for those kissing brothers. I ain't forgot. Talking about the mafia. Come on, man.
That's crazy. You don't kiss your son. That's wild.
Who you been talking to? What son you know about? Hold on, brother. Slow down, Wayne. Skirt. I do know. I definitely know. You working up that wrong tree. Don't come to me talking about no paternity. I'm gonna call Maury on you. I'm cool. Unless my son is some multi-millionaire somewhere.
All right, but John says leave him alone, boss. I think he's talking about Baker. You going in on Baker because he said, but the Browns are showing progress as a team and there's no I in team. So
there's an I in win though, so we better win.
That's crazy. But before you just totally took us off rail with your Birdman call. Wait, what were you talking about? You were talking about Juju getting thrown around, right?
Juju got beat. That's right. He went from Juju on to beat to Juju got beat.
Bro. I was trying to collect my thoughts.
I said, see, you knew you were soft. Sit down somewhere.
I was trying to collect my thoughts.
That's my bike, punk.
All right,
shout out to Tiny too. I'm doing a lot of shout outs today because I'm happy to be here.
R.I.P.
to the man. Yeah, buddy.
That's crazy. But bro,
I like how we both had a moment of silence for it though, like just unintentionally, like a mug.
because I'll try to collect my thoughts. I don't remember what I was about to just say.
Juju getting beat. That was where we left off at.
Yeah, we did leave off on Juju getting beat.
Poor man.
God,
He got a family. He got a family.
That's Juju got a family.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's Twitch streamers.
Ain't none of them watching.
I'm not in this young demographic anymore, buddy. You have to tell me.
Don't ask me. I don't know nothing about Juju.
How am I supposed to? The people I hang around with, they got butterscotch candy around, peppermints. Your kind got Starburst and Skittles. You know, I love the Cougars.
That's crazy.
I love the Cougars.
I mean, he'll have his redemption against the Bengals. I guess.
I mean,
what's his name? Mike Tomlin just praised Jesse Bates, and I mean, Jesse Bates can only do so much.
Yeah.
Especially with that secondary. Trey Wayne's not coming back at all.
Again, that's the little things. You know what I mean? That's the little pieces that, right. Okay, we know Jesse Bates comes with us going forward. That's all it is. It's kind of like, it's like a road trip where Cincinnati's at. You know, who's getting in the car with us? Not everybody can go, but we're going to figure that out. So,
but yeah, you know, like you said, Juju got abused in Buffalo, so maybe he'll have a redemption in Cincinnati. Maybe not. Who knows?
We'll see.
But I don't even remember all you said about the game, other than what Josh Allen's for real, Stephon Diggs for real. I mean, we should have known that.
Yeah.
Even though
we did, but it
kind of was like the second receiver in Minnesota.
I mean, technically,
they a lot of times they try to make him the second receiver. I don't know why.
That's probably because his attitude.
Yeah, true.
And it's hard out here for a brother, you know. We'll never take that away out of there.
I mean, let's be honest. You don't got a lot of white receivers, so when you got a spectacular one at Adam Thielen, you gotta put some love on him.
Yeah.
Some shine and love.
Usually all of them are in New England, so. boy, oh boy.
New England or Denver.
That's like the question, like, is he a wide receiver? Yeah. Does he play for New England? No. Does he play for Denver? No. What? You gotta play for Tennessee at least. No. The Bucks had JoJo and Vicious.
I forgot about Adam Humphries down in Tennessee.
Yep.
But yeah, you know, Stephon Diggs for real. Josh Allen's for real. And hopefully they go far in the playoffs. I'm trying to see them versus the Chiefs. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't hate to see the Steelers and the Bills go up and get into the playoffs just to see that.
Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out. I mean, this is a different year because you have that first team bye. So I think that's where the Steelers really shot themselves in the foot because you kind of have to let other teams eliminate each other. But if the Steelers don't get that number one spot, they have to play in that first round of games.
Were they number one in the AFC?
They were, but because they lost twice and Kansas City still only lost once, they're not in the number one spot anymore. And you don't want to give Kansas City, especially with Andy Reid, another chance to have a bye. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, your get well card is right here in the mail because you're dealing with the Bengals. And they still have the Browns at the end of the season, which is going to be troubling because
I ain't going to lie. Their last 3 games is trap games. I mean, yes, the Bengals are playing terrible, but so, you got smacked in the mouth against the Bills, so you're probably going to come out, smack the Bengals in the mouth, but then you got the coach right after. And that's a tough team right there. So that's a trap game. And then the Browns, they looking tough. They looking mean. They looking hungry. You looking like a wounded animal right now. So yeah, these last 3 games could be trap games, low-key.
Wayne said looking like cookies and cream to me.
Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream.
I thought you was about to say peaches and cream for a minute. I was about to say, whoa.
It's the S, the F, the I, the M. Let me tell you what I want to do. I tell I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy to be here. Boy.
But you want to go to the Bengals and Cowboys? And Andy Dalton's spectacular performance. What was it, 30-7?
First of all, I want to talk about that Cowboys defense, which again, we want to talk some fantasy. I made sure to put them out there. Hate to do it to you, Bengals fan, but I don't.
What is up with this man?
Because the Bengals suck, bro. Can I not get mine? I mean, the Bengals suck. I don't love it. I would rather it be flipped around. I would rather have a whole bunch of Bengals beating up on Steelers, whatever.
Who got the Steelers defense? I'm about to put the Steelers defense in. I'm tired of the Ravens.
Probably somebody that's not in the playoffs. I don't worry about those peasants. We playoff talk over here.
That's crazy.
Trade.
I mean, I'm in the playoffs, the loser bracket playoffs.
Yeah, y'all can have that, y'all. Your cold mashed potatoes, your turkey and gravy.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
We eat lobster and crab over here.
That's so crazy.
But
I wish it was baseball season. I'm not gonna lie.
Anyway, that was something. That was something to do on a Sunday, I guess, because nobody really wanted to see the Cowboys and the Bengals. The Bengals and Cowboys didn't want to see the Bengals and the Cowboys.
I wanted to see the Bengals and Cowboys.
For what? Andy Dalton?
Yeah, Andy Dalton in the CS win.
Well, how did that work out for you?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna stop predicting games because I remember earlier in one of these episodes, I predicted that we had a decent chance with the rest of our schedule. Nope.
I told them not to listen to you.
I predicted we had a decent chance against Washington. They bullied us, injured our quarterback.
But it was one of those games where, like I said, it was a win for the Cowboys, but it really was a win for the Bengals just because you need to be locked up in that top 3 pick range so they can continue to build with their guys, build through the draft, do what they need to do. And the Cowboys, you need to get the wins that you can get when you can get them. Because I don't think the Cowboys need to pick high again. And if history repeats itself, the last time they picked in like the top 5, they ended up with Dak Prescott and Zeke in that same year. So they want to be in that kind of position to take advantage of it when you get that shot. Nobody wants to be picking in the top 5 ever, but when you have that opportunity, especially when you're a team like Dallas, where you're a Dak Prescott injury away from really being able to contend. So
I mean, to be honest, even with Andy Dalton, they're able to contend in a way.
Yeah, his injuries hit him a lot harder. Like Andy Dalton's a great backup quarterback for them. I think they should bring him back. But it's kind of one of those things where you needed some kind of push to get you into the postseason. Like I think it's just how we talked about with the Eagles game. You can win a game, you can lose a game, or that in the Eagles case it was a tie, but that tie was more like a loss to them, where it was like a win for the Bengals. So you flip it to the Bengals playing the Cowboys. If the Bengals would have won that game against the Cowboys, that would have been a loss for them because you lose draft stock, you lose draft area, and that doesn't really help your young guys. Yeah, you want to see your young guys win, but at the end of the day, that's just what happens.
Sound like a popular man over there.
No. Shout out to my brother Bug. He was supposed to be on the show today, and he overslept, and he is just now realizing that. What's up, Bug? My brother.
Oh, you was bringing a guest on the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're transparent around here. Let's give a shout out to Boogie for being partying all night, I guess, or up playing the game, whatever he was doing. He didn't wake up in time.
Which, by the way, I'm looking at the NFL mock draft right now. They got Trevor Lawrence 1 going to the Jets, Justin Fields going to the 2 going to the Jaguars. What was his name? Penny Swell.
Mm-hmm.
Penny Swell coming to the Bengals, which I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I mean, it helps that offensive line, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to be top 3. Caleb Furley going to Dallas. Rashawn Slater going to Chargers, which the Chargers been just as trash as the Bengals. I don't know why they fired, but all right.
Well, I mean, I think they have one more win. I think they're 3-9, if I'm not mistaken. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's why that win, if the Bengals would have won, would have been a loss because
then we would have fell out of that top 3. Probably wouldn't have got this offensive tackle that you said is amazing up in Oregon.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he gave up a sack in his college career. Don't quote me on that one
at all.
I don't think so.
I mean, we can look it up. Real quick.
Definitely look it up.
As we transfer over to, we talked the Bengals and Steelers.
Yeah.
We talked that the Browns have the Giants. You want to talk about that a little bit more? You
Did
done?
we hold on? We did a week 14. We had the Steelers.
Yeah, the week 14 was the Steelers and the Bills, the
Eagles.
Cowboys and the
Okay, yeah,
Bengals.
okay. I just had to make sure we covered all the teams. Yeah. Um. Well, the Browns, Giants. Strangely enough, this is a big game for both teams.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, Joe Judge, he's excited to play against Baker. I don't know why.
We'll see how excited he is after the game.
I mean, he says he's a fan of Baker, so
Oh well,
he's mad excited to play
we'll
against
take the love.
You thought it was on that?
I mean, I'll be ready, bro. I mean, hootie hoo,
Golly.
hootie woo. But nah. I mean, at the end of the day,
What's up with these? Hold up. What's up with these? What's up with these? That's the Clips, ain't it? The Hootie Who? No, that's Birdman show. Where is this from?
no limit, fool.
Oh, bro.
Call for the killers.
Regardless, what's up with this New Orleans? This New
Because I'm
Orleans
feeling
vibe?
festive. I told you I'm happy. I'm in a great mood. I'm in my element. I've been held down for almost a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to quarantine when I didn't have to quarantine. You feel me? Like,
You right. You
I'm
right.
excited. I'm ready to see some bees. Maybe that's what it is.
You right. You right. All right.
I'm back, baby.
Continue going off about Joe
Thank
Judge
you.
and his love for Baker Mayfield.
No, I mean I can understand it. I mean, but at the end of the day, you can have that suck fest for later. At the end of the day, it's time to play a game, and it's a must-win game for both teams. Because for the Browns, you have to get in the playoffs. Still, you're not there yet, so you have to beat the Giants. And for the Giants, you still competing for a playoff spot. Strangely enough, that division, as poor as it is, you still have yourself a shot. So it's not like they're going to have a walkover. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of does suck is that Odell is hurt. It would have been love to see him going against his old team, especially in light of his recent comments about the old team and why he banged out and everything. And I want to say this:
Oh wait, what was his comment?
he was basically just saying like he didn't think that they was trying to win and like they didn't really help Eli out the last few years. And Eli didn't complain and all that stuff. Which I want to say this: I respect any athlete being transparent and saying whatever he feels, good or bad. Because far too often I see anonymous source here, something made, and I've always thought that was whack. Because I like to look at things from my own perspective.
So you kind of respected when Dunlap was basically crying out to leave the Bengals.
I respect if that's how you feel. I'ma always say what you mean as long as that's really how you feel. Don't tell me what somebody else is saying. Tell me how you feel. Because far too often somebody else told me to feel this way and then now I feel that way. That's whack. How do you feel about the situation? And don't make no apologies about it. Far too often, oh, I feel this way, but I'm gonna throw anonymous source said that. Or I'm gonna talk to a reporter and say, oh, don't say it was me, but that's whack to me. Because the way I look at stuff, don't come telling me that's something that somebody else said. Let that person tell me or don't tell me nothing at all. You feel me? So I do respect Beckham for coming out and saying, how he felt. I'm not a big fan of speaking stuff up once you already banged out of that situation. It's over. But if they're going to ask you about it, I respect saying what you need to say about it. But with that being said, I think the Browns have to prove they're a superior team because this is, even though it's a must win for both teams, I think it's a bigger letdown for the Browns if they do lose this game. I think at the beginning of the season, you probably circled this game and said this should be a win, even though you don't never want to look forward to or ahead of stuff like that. You kind of had to have that mentality. But now that we're here, it's more so that you had a loss last week. It was a tough game. It was a great game, but you need to come back and you need to respond. It's kind of like being punched in the face. What do you do after you got punched in the face? Do you run like a chump or do you come and stand like a man? And I think the Browns will be ready. I think that again they played a team that was a championship caliber team that weren't playing championship caliber football. And this was the week that they did that. So, they got that out the way. They lost a tough one. Now they get to play another, not necessarily tough team, but a tough game. That could be a trap game for them. They got to come out and establish their dominance so they don't have to kind of moonwalk into the playoff spot. They can run in there. So, and for the Giants' sake, you need this to keep pace with the Redskins because the Redskins, even though they're still under 500, the Redskins have won 5 straight, I think, and they're in that spot where even if they kind of take a loss, they're still in that range of getting into the playoffs, which nobody thought would happen.
All right.
But you kind of need to get to your mode.
I mean, that's what having a good quarterback does for you, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely should be a good game. Should be an entertaining game. I look for Chubb to take over. Really, maybe that's cautiously optimistic because I want he's on my fantasy team. Another fantasy shout out, Trey. But
Why is he coming for the
because that's my opponent, so I got to be at his neck, even though he don't watch our show.
Right.
Still, it's beef all day with me. But I think that should be a good game.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Also, real quick before we go to the Ravens, and they're playing the Jaguars, which I mean, that's pretty simple to talk about. Yeah, but Penny Swell. I'm looking at his scouting report. It seems like a lot of positives, not a lot of weaknesses. His only two weaknesses they say is his center of gravity, and when he gets beat is because of his hand placement. And I mean that could always be worked on.
Yeah, that's
especially if we have a better O line coach. Hello, I hope the Bengals are listening. Fire that man, please. But most of his strengths is that makes the position look effortless. Which is another thing, he's a left tackle. Also, so is Jonah Williamson. So you said move him, right?
Yeah, move one of them. I mean, that's just what that's going to have to be.
I mean, it may be, but Billy Price was he was a center. They moved him to right guard. It was a whole different world for him.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you don't have a penny there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
It's kind of like the line. It's always going to be a unit, but you have to have the strong guy there first. You know what I'm saying? Like if your left tackle is weak, or you don't have somebody that can establish the dominance of that line, then the rest of those guys won't be able to fall into play. Okay. If Jonah Williams, if he's your second best tackle, you're probably better off.
Right.
He now has to be your first best tackle now. So that pushes him to second, Price to maybe third. You know what I mean? So it's just a hierarchy that comes with that.
But I see where you're going with this. And we got like Jordan Williams is a pretty decent left tackle. He has shown that he can hold that left side. If we get someone to hold the right side, move Penny Swell over there. They said he makes a position look effortless. He's explosive and athletic. Has excellent change of direction, able to get into space, great finisher, good lateral agility, attacks every down. I mean, that's something we need, to be honest.
And that's not to say that, he may not be the right tackle.
True.
That's the beauty of competition.
Yeah.
Jonah, if you can beat him out, beat him out. If you can't, you know what I'm saying? That's just kind of what it is. If you beat him out, you're the left tackle.
Right.
If not, you're the right tackle. Either way, we're on the same team.
I mean, you can also just move one of them on the inside. Because I'm tired of Fred Johnson.
Well, I mean, that's the line versatility that you would like to see, but they just kind of have to see how it plays out. The first thing you have to do is to get that man in that orange and black though.
Right.
So,
but you want to talk about the Ravens and Jaguars, or it's just a bye week?
It's a bye week. I mean,
if you're saying rest Lamar, let him
in the
locker room.
I think it's actually the opposite. If anything, work on his his pass game. If that's the case, have Lamar do stuff that he's up. This should be the game where Lamar doesn't use his feet. This should be the game where you try to make him a drop back passer because you can win without him. They could go get freaking anybody in this location. Go get Nakia. Put Nakia at the quarterback. I can guarantee you they'll still beat the Jaguars. And they'll beat them handily. So you don't need Lamar Jackson to be superstar Lamar Jackson. You just need him to work on this. Treat it like a bye week. Treat it like a practice. You want to respect your opponent a little bit more, but come on, let's be real. The Jaguars stink. They want to stink. They're not trying to be better.
You want them to be like the Chiefs. When the Chiefs played the Jets, they was like, "That's a good team." Even though they're down and out, it's a good team. But they was on the field dancing and everything.
Well, I mean, you can dance after you beat somebody's tail.
I guess. Well, I mean, they was dancing during the game.
Well, I mean, they was beating their tail during the game too, though. Anyway, what else did they have to do? You got to pass the time at some point. Stay loose. That was more exercise they was using.
But yeah, I agree with that. They're playing the Jaguars. The Jaguars really ain't. Other than what's his name? I think it's James Robertson, the running back. Yeah, let him eat. He on my fantasy team.
Shout out to Coach. He on the broadcast. My guy, Coach. We already know. Yes,
crazy.
Still here, my brother.
He ain't over here. He over there. That's crazy.
My guy.
That's crazy, Coach. But yeah, shout out, Coach.
Wouldn't be that close, but still, my guy.
But yeah, treat this like a bye week. James Robinson, he gonna get his yards regardless. But if you could ease up a little bit, let him get a lot of yards, maybe a touchdown or two, really help me out.
So you really trying to win this loser bracket, huh?
Yes, I'm trying to. Hey, I was not paying attention at all during the regular season. I did not know I was losing this badly.
Well, now
Trying to
you
win
know.
now.
If you don't know, now you know.
But yeah, that's all I got for the show. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, actually, I don't want to say it doesn't have nothing to do with the show, but because it does, and we talked about this a lot. We have a lot of fun, we joke, we kick it and everything, but I think I would be remiss without having the platform that I have to say, R.I.P. Casey Goodson. That's something that happened around the time we were gone, and this is what Kaepernick did it for. This is what Kaepernick took that knee for. People try to make it seem like something else. Just like I see what's happening with his case. You can't keep making something what you want it to be. At the end of the day, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And what happened to that man was extremely wrong. What happened to Kaepernick was extremely wrong. That just shows you how tough it is to be a black man in this world and how things go and how little it's really paid attention to. I just seen earlier that the Negro Leagues is finally being included in the MLB. And my thing is, why does it take so long? And why do you keep throwing certain things out there and say, here's a little bit, but we're not going to take care of the real issues. To see, look up and see another, situation like that happen, it always brings it back to, like I said, the things that we talk about here with the Kaepernick stuff, and we talk about the presidency, and we're talking about, another black man being, murdered out of for what? And like I said, I feel like the platform that we have it's something that is kind of our duty to get up here and speak the truth. And again, what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And say that man's name. Admit to what you did wrong and get that man some justice. So
Yes, sir.
I
May
don't
he
want to.
rest in power. May
Yeah,
he rest in
definitely.
power.
I don't want to. I like to, like I said, I like to keep things light around here for sure. But I also like to be extremely informative. And usually we sign off and tell people where to follow us at, and this, that, and the third. But I end this with just saying, justice for that man. Whatever way you got to get it, get it. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, that was a perfect way to end that. Uh, I guess the only thing else to say is tune in next week. We'll be back. And yes, sir. Yes, sir. See y'all next time.